June here on the farm, and basically the theme of this month is we have lots of food, but nowhere to sell it. All of our spring crops are going crazy. We have so much growth. Both of these beds are a perfect example. They're ready to be harvested right now. In fact, we do try to pick this guylan here before the flowers open. So technically, this was ready to be harvested like a week ago. This stuff is grown so much, it needs to get eaten right now. I have 50 feet of baby red Russian kale that it's ready to go. It's ready to get picked. This is so much kale.
I love this kale and I eat it all the time, but there's too much even for me.
Our beautiful bok choy has gone to seed, so now it's garbage. We've been eating 5 of these big, beautiful Salanova heads of lettuce a day, but even doing that, we haven't even made a dent in how much lettuce we have planted, and this is just what I planted in April. We have way more coming. I had the farm completely planted. I got all of my plants in, but we're even to the point that I've started emptying beds again. This had radishes that got maggoty, and they had to go straight to the chickens. But don't worry, we are not stressed at all. The plan was never to really focus on these spring crops. We planted way less than we normally would have planted of all this stuff because we knew we weren't necessarily going to have anywhere to plant this stuff come June. We're not doing any farmers markets right now, and we are planning on building a roadside stand. It's not going to be ready to July, so what we're going to do with this is we'll sell some here and there. We'll load up all of our friends and family with lots of fresh veggies, and whatever's left we are harvesting and we're giving to the food bank. These spring crops that we grow, these are all low value crops. These are all things that we grow so that we have something to sell early. A lot of the stuff that's ready right now was planted in the beginning of April. This is kind of the earliest we can start to get stuff without using a heated greenhouse or having a lot of seedlings to plant out. So this is just so we can get to the market, get selling, get ready. There's probably about $1,000 in value in here. It's not a huge amount of money for us to be worrying about, because even though I say there's $1,000 of value in here, it's not that we'd sell $1,000 worth of stuff. If we would have been doing farmers markets, We would have been bringing this stuff down for June when we started doing the markets, but by the time I was planting in beginning of April, we already knew this was going to be a really weird year with the COVID. So we didn't have a lot of plans for the farmers market anyways, and instead we planted a lot of things that we wouldn't normally grow that are specifically for the summer season. We're usually a lot more focused on what we have in the farm for summer crops, and this year I did a huge variety of things. These two beds here are a perfect example. This is broccoli and some cauliflower, and over here these are onions. At the end I have peppers. This is stuff that we would never grow normally in our farm, but if we're going to be doing a veggie box or the small farm stand out on the road, we want to give people a few more options, a few more reasons to shop with us on this specific weird year, so I'm not worried. This greenhouse is a perfect example of what I mean by July being the beginning of our summer season and the summer crops. In here I have basil and zucchinis and tomatoes. All of this stuff is stuff that will be ready in about a month, and these are big sellers. This stuff does get us a lot of value. We're the bok choy. I mean, we're obsessed with bok choy. You know, we got the choy boy behind the camera, and we love it. We want to eat it all the time, but it is a little bit difficult to sell here in our local area. We can sell some. We obviously can't sell the 400 that we planted. I'm really excited for how my summer crops are looking though. This is a bed of Swiss chard and this is a bed of kale. These we let grow big so that we can pick big leaves to do bunches of, and this stuff is growing really well. It's been in the ground now for about a month and it's getting really close to being able to start harvesting. Like this is the size of a full-size kale leaf, and we already have some in here. I could probably go through and pick even 5 bunches today if I needed to. Swiss chard and kale, even though they're not one of the most popular summer vegetables, are still good, steady sellers for us. Last year I had 100 plants of each, and we kept it picked and we sold most of what we actually harvested and brought down to the market. So I bumped up the amount a little bit. I think we're up to about 150 of each plant. So this should give me a good steady supply, something I can always have. If you're local and you like kale or Swiss chard, we can be your hookup. These are 2 other of our big selling main summer crops. We got carrots and beets. We sold carrots like crazy last year, and beets we didn't do so good on, but I'm doing it better this year. I'm full-size beets this year instead of baby beets. And so this stuff, it's coming along really nicely. It looks like it's going to be on track to be ready for July. We are going to be having lots of really nice stuff to sell once we hit that summer season. We also grow herbs. Last year we always had a selection of herbs at the farmers market, and so we want to also establish ourselves locally, as if you like to use fresh herbs, you can come to us. We'll have options, and these are growing. They're really healthy. They're happy for the last month that they've been in the ground, so we should have lots to harvest all summer with these. This is a bed of green peppers. This is another great example of stuff I would never grow in my farm, except for that it's a crazy year. These were all left over after our seedling sale. Green peppers are apparently not as popular as red peppers as seedlings, so I put them into the ground. These I can harvest off of over the summer and have a few nice green peppers out on the farm stand. Another reason for people to stop. Another thing to fill in my beds. This kohlrabi is a spring crop. Last year we grew it to have something just in the mix for when we're selling, lettuce and bok choy basically. This, even though it is a spring crop, I can keep it in the ground. These are teeny tiny baby bulbs. These I can let grow to quite a bigger size, and they'll still be marketable. So these, I'm gonna give them another month to grow. They are gonna be out come July. We'll still get to be able to sell this crop get a harvest off of here that's going to be on the farm stand. So even though this is a spring crop, it's not completely gone to waste. These spring crops that we're eating and also sending off to the food bank are also part of my summer crop plan rotation. These are going to get out of here because I do have a handful of things I want to plant that will be ready for July. Stuff like radishes and the Hackeri turnips. They only need about a month in the ground. So this stuff, it's gonna come out and I'm gonna start working on those really quick crops like those radishes. This is all gonna be stuff that's gonna be producing in time for when my summer crops are ready, even though it looks like there's nothing here right now. This is still logical for my plan. This is another summer crop that I'm super anxious to start eating again. I have zucchinis and patty pans planted in here. I want to do a lot of these this year. I love zucchini and I think that we'll be able to sell a lot of it at the farm stand too. We have all of the greenhouses completely planted and completely, you know, organized and ready to go. At this point, we're just growing. This is our smaller greenhouse, and in here I only have cherry tomatoes. So I'm very excited for when about a month from now comes and I have fruit going. This is gonna be like my little paradise. I just hide in here and eat cherry tomatoes all day. This greenhouse also only has smaller tomatoes. The plan for tomatoes this year is that we are gonna try really hard on mixed baskets of cherry tomatoes, and then I have Juliet tomatoes too. We're gonna try to get a lot of those small tomato baskets out there. Good for snacking, good for chopping up for salads. We wanna be the person that you go to get your cherry tomatoes. So I think in total I have almost 200 cherry tomato plants. We planted 350 tomato plants in total, but a lot of them are cherry tomatoes, which is gonna be an insane amount. Like we might even end up wholesaling our cherry tomatoes because the volume that comes off of cherry tomatoes is crazy. So this greenhouse is also gonna be my cherry tomato paradise, but even more than just cherry tomato paradise, I also am gonna have all my eggplants and I have hot peppers in here. I think I have about 50 jalapenos and 50 cayennes. So this is basically gonna be my favorite place. It has all of my favorite things growing in it. This is the final part of our summer sale crop plan. We have our 1,500 heads of garlic and we're really excited because it's getting close. They've started to grow the scapes. And this is usually a sign for us that it's about a month before our garlic's gonna be ready. And even more importantly, it means we can start eating fresh garlic again. We love eating these scapes. They're like a mild, we call them like garlic asparagus because you eat the stem. Oh, they're so good. But yeah, so stay tuned. About a month from now, we'll have our annual garlic harvest video out because we love harvesting garlic. So we always have to make a video where we obsess about garlic in it. But yeah, we are really excited to see this crop. And this, with 1,500 heads, we should have lots to sell, you know, into winter.
You should pull one
No!
so that everybody can see what garlic looks like a month away from harvest.
No, you're not.
People want to see that.
But then it's one less head of garlic.
You can eat fresh garlic.
Okay, fine.
Oh, world's biggest clove.
Yeah, so exactly. You don't pull it because it hasn't started to bulb yet.
Looks good though. This is Serina being sad.
What a waste. What a waste.
We did it for the people.
I don't love YouTube that much. I don't love you guys enough to waste one head of garlic on you.
Earlier, I cleared out all this area and we planted our winter squash in this area. We're not super invested in the winter squash. Some will live, some will die. The exciting thing is how close we are to the bottom of our property. It's like we keep tilling more and more area and coming down the property, and this little section of grass keeps getting smaller and smaller, and now it feels like we're like one good till and like expansion away from kind of the bottom section as far down as the farm will ever go. So pretty exciting to actually see us utilizing this space. One day the farm will come all the way down to about where I am. Until then, it is still a parking lot. Where our chickens are over there as well, the farm's gonna come down and then it's gonna go across, and the chickens will probably have some of their land taken back by the farm. But first things first, we gotta get all the way down here. So there'll be a day sometime where, you know, it's recently rained and I'll just have the tiller fired up for some other reasons, and I'll probably start tilling all of this up. And this all used to be orchard, so there's lots of cherry stumps under there, and cherry stumps don't really give up and come out of the ground very easily. So it still looks like a lot of work for me to get the farm down here. Big rocks come out of here as well, but the day is coming close to when, you know, I'll have basically everything tilled and cleaned up all the way down to where we intend the farm to end. So really excited.
Looks like it's gonna be super fun because someone turned the bottom part of this property into the rock pile. So there's definitely gonna be some fun rock picking happening.
It seems like we've been here forever, like 3 years, but in reality we're only coming up to our 2nd year anniversary, which kind of blows our mind because it looks so different from when we first moved here. So we are getting pretty pumped to kind of like cross that barrier, and also having spent some time here, everything's kind of really falling into place. You know, we really have a better feel for what we want to do here, and so the 2nd anniversary feels like the new beginning of, you know, what our farm is actually going to be.
All of our lazy ladies still like to hang out all day in the chicken coop. They're always hiding in here, being lazy. They are getting braver though. We've had them for a month now, and you know, they're getting more mature, they're more comfortable with the property. Even though they like to be in their coop, they do come out and they're getting quite used to us. In fact, when we walk, about half of the flock will follow us wherever we go. So they're starting to like us, they're starting to like their area. Come on, ladies. This is a good shot. Like,
Don't let it peck the lens.
it'll peck the mic. All right, let's head back up to the top of the property and show you the flower farm.
That's a brave rooster. I've been loving life lately because my favorite hobby is digging, and there has been no shortage of shovel work for me to do. I'm digging all day. This is something we're pretty excited about. We're doing a major overhaul and upgrade of all of our irrigation. We can spend an insane amount of time just walking around the property, turning valves, moving hoses, setting up sprinklers. We still don't really have a professional way to water our farm, and so that's what this is trying to solve. We have this 1.5 inch line that's buried, and it goes down the edge of one of our properties, and previously it wasn't even really tapped into that much. There's going to be 6 different spots where we have something like this set up, where we're going to have like a garden hose and a hose just set up so that we can do any sort of watering or veggie cleaning that we need to on the spot. Wherever we are, we always have a hose closed. And then this particular station is going to have 6 different zones that'll all be controlled by a computer that's over in our outbuilding. That computer will also control, it's a 15 zone computer, and it'll control zones all the way down the farm. So hopefully everything works out perfectly, and we can just, with the tap of a button, get all of our farm essentially watered all at once.
Bye, abuse.
I got you.
One of the things that I'm most excited about for the irrigation that Ian's been doing is this specific zone that he's been working on is going to be watering all of the flower farm. Last year we had some issues in the flower farm because we didn't have drip irrigation. We had some lower, spraying, mister. We basically just salvaged all the garbage that we found to build a system for the flower farm here. And all the water that was getting on the foliage with how tightly packed all of the flowers in the flower farm was led to some like mildew issues, some disease issues, and so that meant that by the end of the season the zinnias weren't doing as good as they could have been doing. So this year all the flower farm is going to be watered by drip lines. Ideally they'd be under the plastic. They won't this year, but they will next year. But yeah, so all of this is going to be 2 drip zones, and I can't wait. All of the flower farm has been planted. It's filled. There's a couple empty spots for doing succession planting of my baby's breath, but I got almost 2 full beds of zinnias. I have a few snapdragons in here, and these are all color blocked. So it's gonna look really pretty when they start growing. I also have my cosmos, and I have no idea how to say it, but gomphrena or something like that. Amaranth and celosia, and bits and pieces. This makes me very happy every time I walk past it, though I'm impatient. I want it to start flowering. It probably will start though beginning of July. That'll be when we can probably start picking flowers out of here, which is perfect because it's going to be just in time for all my summer veggies. Everything's going to come online at the same time. Hopefully the timing will work out good. Our flower seedlings are always our lowest priority to get planted. Even though I talk about flowers and I know you all love flowers, I probably love flowers the least out of everything on the farm. So I'm like, I don't care, like whatever, they'll bounce back. But I have been a little concerned because they were getting kind of sad because they'd been in the plug trays too long. And so they've been in the ground now long enough that I would hope to see them bouncing back a little bit better. Guys, like bad cats. But they're too light colored. They should be a dark, rich color, and the new growth isn't super dark and healthy and happy. So I think I really just need the water to get going on these because we don't have any irrigation set up. I think they're just not getting as much water as they ideally would like to get all settled in. So hopefully I can get these looking a lot happier, a lot healthier over the next week or two, or else I would have lied when I said that they'll all have flowers come July, because they won't flower unless I get them happy.
I'm gonna get you.
One thing that is looking good is my dahlias, and especially the seed dahlias. All of these seed dahlias were big, beautiful, happy plants when I planted them, and since they've been in the ground, they are so close to flowering. Every day I come out and I'm like, nah. It's taking a lot longer than I feel like it should, but almost all of them are budding up, and they're a bit leggy for what I want, so I think when they flower, I'm gonna actually cut those first blossoms and then give myself a little dahlia bouquet inside, and justify it as testing the vase life on the seed dahlias. But yeah, this section, I know it doesn't really look like anything yet, but guys, trust me, this is gonna be crazy. I have 150 dahlias in here, and they're all gonna be, like taller than me, crouching down. It's gonna be a jungle. It's gonna be good.
Ooh.
This here might look like a total weed patch, but this is actually pretty exciting, because what this is beds of strawberries, and they're starting to ripen. Ooh.
We've got 3 of these beautiful apricot trees that are just loaded with apricots this year. Last year, the cold came at the exact wrong time. We got a frost, and we didn't get a single apricot, or maybe we got 1 single apricot off of these 3 trees. The year before we had had a massive harvest, so we were really planning on it, and it was very disappointing to us. This year we're super excited that the apricots are back because, you know, we put apricots in everything when we have them.
Ian is a jerk and he thinks that we should wrap up the video here, but there's something that he keeps telling me he does not care about, but I know that you guys will appreciate how awesome it is and be like, yes, Serena, you are correct. It is awesome. So I have to show you one last thing before we go. This is my It Is Too Cute to Handle keyhole garden that I've made up here. It has a little center in the middle only because Yarrow self-seeded, so I'm working with what's there, but oh, I love it. I think it's so cute with this little like alyssum path. And then what this is it's cabbages that are for us specifically, and then I have all these flowers. I have like calendula and borage, and then I have all these like different patterned things. So when this fills in, it's gonna be too cute to handle, and Ian is right now making a stink face, but he is wrong, and you guys all know that this is so cute. Give me thumbs up for this so cute garden, please.
The only thing that's actually exciting here is all of our potatoes.
June is gonna feel a lot like a waiting month for us. We're gonna be waiting for the summer crops to be ready. We're gonna be waiting for the farm stand to be finished. We're gonna be waiting for the chickens to start laying eggs. There's a lot that is kind of just starting. You know, we're waiting for the flowers to get to blooming. But even though it's not that abundance that we have in August, it's still super exciting. We love to come out here every day, see something new, like coming online, like new things to eat. I love having empty spots to fill, and you know, to be starting to think about fall too. June is one of the most pleasant times on the farm for us because April and May had been chaos. It was every day and night work, and now we get to take a little bit of a breather. We get to, you know, reset, replan, and so we're really excited for what we're gonna have to be showing you coming up into the summer season. And we'll see you next time.